Hello and welcome everybody to another modern video. That's right, I am still in the process of learning all the decks to commentate the Pro Tour in Atlanta, where the format will be modern. And so this is the deck that I'm trying today, and that is Mono-Blue Belcher. This is a really interesting one. Full disclosure, I'm not a total expert on this deck or anything in Modern, but I'm trying my best to kind of learn through what every deck is trying to do so that I can follow all the lines of play during the Pro Tour. So starting things off here on the left side here, we have, of course, the Goblin Charbelcher combo. And what you're basically trying to do is get Goblin Charbelcher into play, tap 3, tap it, activate it, and then you just kill your opponent in one shot. The reason being is you keep revealing cards off the top of your deck until you hit a land. Well, guess what? Every land in this deck is a spell land, so you effectively have 0 actual lands in your deck, so Goblin Charbelcher will basically just kill them in one shot. So how do you get there? Well, you have 4 copies of Lotus Bloom, which is a great way to just ramp into Belcher. That way you can just kill your opponent on turn 4, potentially. You have 4 copies of Whir of Invention, which is an instant speed spell that lets you fetch the Lotus Bloom. You know, if you, on turn 3, for example, if you Whir for Lotus Bloom, turn 4, you can just play the Charbelcher and then kill your opponent that way. And then you have 4 copies of Tameshi Reality Architect, which combos super nicely with Lotus Bloom, where if you ever draw Tameshi with Lotus Bloom, then all of a sudden you get to generate a ton of mana, because this has the ability where you pay white mana, and you can return a land you control to your hand to put an artifact or enchantment with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So what that means is, for every land you have, you get to tap that, pick it up, and then put a Lotus Bloom into play and just keep going through it. So every land basically becomes a Dark Ritual, which is quite strong, getting you the mana that you need to Goblin Charbelcher your opponent out. So that's the core of the combo of the deck. Moving on here, we have, of course, the lands. And you have a nice combination here. Here on the left, we have the lands that come into play untapped. You have to pay 3 life to do so, but they all have marginal value. I would say Sink into Stupor is probably the best, because it lets you bounce things, and it lets you bounce potentially hateful cards. But Seagate Restoration can also come in handy if, for example, you're playing a grindy matchup and you want to draw a bunch of cards. Then we have the tap lands here. We have 4 copies of Suppression Ray. This is a nice way to every now and then get actual white mana to be able to utilize the Tameshi. Usually you use the white mana with the Lotus Bloom, but Suppression Ray gets the job done as well. 4 copies of Jwari Disruption, which is actually just a nice counter that comes into play tapped. Waterlogged Teachings, which you can use to get some counter spells or Whir of Invention. And 2 copies of Being Veil, which is, you know, you don't cast this that often, but it is another nice 2-mana blue spell for some of your free spells that we'll get into later. Moving on to our creatures here. We have 4 copies of Philology Archaeologist and 4 copies of Thundertrap Trainer. You basically will almost never miss with these cards, and basically they're a nice 2-mana stopgap for various aggressive decks that also helps you find pieces of your combo. But more importantly, these 2 cards also work really well with Flare of Denial, which is a counterspell where if you sack a non-token blue creature, you can basically cast this for free, which is a great way to protect your spell. So turn 2 Archaeologist or Trainer, and then later you can sacrifice those creatures to Flare of Denial to be able to get basically a free counterspell. Speaking of free counterspells, you also have Force of Negation as another free counter to counter what they're doing on their turn, and then 4 copies of Disrupting Shoal, which is a really nice way to also protect your own combo, and just gives you more free counters for this deck, because the only cards that matter here are just getting Belcher with Lotus Bloom and just activating it instantly, right? Once you find those 2 pieces, you just want to use your free counters to protect or prevent yourself from dying or prevent your opponent from disrupting what you're trying to do. Then we have a smattering of 1-mana interactive spells, 1 copy of Into the Floodmaw for just have an extra bounce spell, 2 copies of Spell Snare and Stern Scolding for various creature decks as well. Quickly going through the sideboard here, we have 3 copies of Consigned to Memory versus Eldrazi and any other decks where the triggered ability might be relevant. 1 copy of Tamiyo and Stock Up for more of the mid-range matchups, along with Tezzeret the Seeker, which is a nice way to fetch your Charbelcher, but you can also use it to fetch Lotus Bloom, or you can use it to fetch, for example, Tormod's Crypt out of your sideboard. 2 copies of Harbinger of the Seas for the non-basic decks. 2 copies of Flusterstorm for various interactive decks. Tormod's Crypt for the various graveyard decks. Really nice to Whir of Invention for as well. One copy of Mountain. This is for the various Boseiju. Maybe there are Ghost Quarter decks, but mostly the Boseiju decks. If they Boseiju, the deck doesn't have any main deck basics, but having a main deck Mountain means that every now and then you won't be able to kill your opponent with Belcher, but noting that when you reveal a Mountain off Belcher, you deal double damage. So instead of Island, you're playing Mountain for that reason. One copy of Duskgrow's Reliquary, which is hard to cast, but you can get it off of War of Invention, and you can get it with Tezzeret the Seeker, so just another disruptive element, and then 2 more bounce effects into the Floodmaw, and Hurkyl's Recall as a way to bounce multiple hit artifacts. For example, when you're playing against Eldrazi-tron, they might have a bunch of Disruptor Flutes and Chalices and stuff. You cast the Hurkyl's Recall and just bounce all of it to try to combo off on a future turn. So this is a really interesting deck. Again, full disclosure, I'm still learning how to play this deck. The first time I played this deck in a league, it didn't go so well. Hopefully I can do better in this video. All right, round 1 begins, and what do we have? We have a hand with 3 lands. We have 3 lands, some free counters, and a Philogy Archaeologist and Thundertrap Trainer. So, see, this is maybe why I'm not doing so well. Like, I'm not entirely sure if I'm supposed to keep hands like this. Like, I don't have a Word of Invention, a Charbelcher, or a Lotus Bloom, but I do have free counters, and I have the 2-mana card. So I'm going to try keeping this and see, I'm on the draw. Maybe we can play a slightly slower game and not just try to, instant combo people out. I just feel like, this hand just kind of like 3 lands, interaction, and 2 2-drops. Feels like the type of hand that you probably want to keep. All right, opponent leading with Marsh Flats. I will lead with probably the Waterlogged Teachings. Like, the Disruption is a nice cheap counter if we get to a point where we need that. Hydroelectric Spawn is one of the most frequently played lands as well. And yeah, the Hydroelectric Specimen and the Seagate Oracle are ones that come into play untapped. They fetched for a Meticulous Archive, so they can be, a blue-white control deck, or they could be the various Blink decks. There's like Goryo's Vengeance, Ephemerate decks in the Esper Shells. Here we have a Seagate Restoration, and I'm just going to play the Specimen. Let's take 3 damage, and will I ever get to a point where, I'm just going to play Thundertrap Trainer. I don't actually know which one's better. This one digs me deeper, right? And I don't think I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to Offspring this all that often, so. All right, we hit a Charbelcher, so we're certainly going to take that. Obviously, they know that we have it, but still, right? Got to do what we got to do. Philia. So here's my question, do I want to use a free counter on the Philia, or do I want to just let it resolve? I think I will counter it. Let's do this and exile Jwari Disruption. And then I can still play the Archaeologist to try to find a War of Invention or a Lotus Bloom. And I still have Flare of Denial up. Fatal Push, okay. So they only have 2 cards left. What the heck? Okay. Overlord of the Baelmerk. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, so some kind of Esper Blink deck. Philia with Overlord of the Baelmerk is obviously very strong. All right. Ooh, another Thundertrap Trainer. Okay, let's cast that. And we have Disrupting Shoal and Jwari Disruption. I suppose I'll take Disrupting Shoal. Play. And we won't take the damage here. Look, we can also just cast Charbelcher, right? And then on the following turn activate it. So that's currently the plan. And I have 2 counter spells here, so I'm not feeling terrible about this, right? The fact that I have Disrupting Shoal for 2 on Philia. Is it Felia? I'm not sure. And then the fact that I also have Flare of Denial and Thundertrap Trainer is pretty nice. All right. I think Flare of Denial is more valuable, although they can kill the Thundertrap Trainer as a way to disrupt me, so it's interesting. Pay 3 life. Let's play Belcher. I don't care about attacking my opponent. I guess I could, but Belcher's just going to kill them. Yeah, I mean, this is bad if they have like, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to stop my Belcher, but I guess I can do it on their upkeep. I guess, yeah, I don't need to play the Suppression Ray, right? Because this is if it's not your turn, I can exile a blue card. So I think that's the play. Any order. Boom, negative 32. All right. We got there the first time. Okay. All right, sideboard. You know what? This is the hard part for me just because obviously I don't play this format all that often. We'll note that Force of Negation is not that good in this matchup. I do like the Flare of Denials and the Disrupting Shoals. I think Disrupting Shoals are very good here as we can counter a lot of their cheap stuff. Definitely don't want Tormod's Crypt or Mountain. Or Flusterstorm or Consigns, or Hurkyl's Recall, or Harbinger. I'm just like looking at cards that might be interesting, and it's these 5 cards. So they do have Clarion Conqueror, so probably want another Bounce Spell into the Floodmaw. The Duskrow's Reliquary is also probably fine. I don't know if the format's grindy enough where I want like all these other cards. And then what do I cut here? Maybe I'll cut like a Waterlogged Teachings. This deck plays one more land than the typical list. It's plays 24, so I think shaving a land can be okay. So, especially on the draw too. So let's try that. Like most decks play 23 lands and we're on 24. All right, you know, I'm going to keep this. We got 2 lands. Again, not like a super explosive hand by any means, but the fact that we have 2 Disrupting Shoals for this matchup, I think countering Philia / Psychic Frog is very, very important in this type of matchup. So just having 2 Shoals and a couple of 2-drops seems pretty nice. Oh, War of Invention, okay. So we can use that to get whatever missing piece. I mean, usually you're getting a Lotus Bloom here. It's pretty hard to cast a War of Invention for 4 to get Belcher. It's like pretty rare. Unless you already have the Lotus Field in play. Or excuse me, Lotus Bloom in play. Yep. Oh, I should board. Should I board in the Mountain? I totally forgot about this card. Yeah, I should probably board in the Mountain here because of White Orchid Phantom. That was a misstep on my part for sure. Let's play the Trainer. Sink into Stupor or Waterlogged Teachings. I'll take Sink into Stupor. It at least interacts in some way. I mean, I would have liked to find a Lotus Bloom or a Belcher, of course, but yeah, Disrupting Shoal is really nice here. I'm just always worried that I'm not going to be able to kill my opponent, but I mean, this card seems like a reason to do it this way. No White Orchid Phantoms for you. So my question next turn is, do I just run out War of Invention, or do I play the Thundertrap Trainer instead and try to find maybe another free counter or something? Oh, it looks like a Thoughtseize. Oh, Fatal Push? Okay. Ooh, Tameshi is a nice one. So I'm going to play this. I don't think that deck plays like too many counterspells, so I can just wait on the War of Invention. And I don't really want to play the Tameshi because they've already shown me Fatal Push. So I think I just wait. 3 cards in hand for the opponent. So I can go War of Invention, get Lotus Bloom. Next turn, sack the Lotus Bloom, play Tameshi. Draw a card, generate some mana. Although now it's like one of these. I was thinking the Stupor, never mind. All right, Overlord of the Baelmerk resolves. And it gets them... Oh, man. Flicker Wisp, by the way, is really good against us. But so is the White Orchid Phantom. Yeah, I should have put the Mountain in my deck. That's my bad. Yeah, I got nothing to get here. All right, well, hopefully they're out of, like, action. All right, that is a Sink into Stupor. All right, here we go. Blue. Let's go white. Let's target Lotus Bloom. Let's pick this up. Let's draw a card. Ooh, Seagate Restoration. Oh, that was actually insane. Do I have the mana? I think so, right? One. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I play a land for the turn. I mean, it's not like super insane, but it draws me a bunch of cards. I was hoping to find like counter magic of some kind. I can't cast this, right? All right. So next turn, I can play this untapped. That's 2 mana. Oh, I needed to keep Lotus Field around. See, this is me like bumbling through this deck. I needed to keep Lotus Bloom around, rather. Because now I can't get the Bloom back. But I also felt like there was a lot of value in casting Seagate Restoration, so I'm not entirely sure. But the question is, like, can I actually survive the next few turns like this? I don't know. Oh, Clarion Conqueror? Ugh. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that we can. I mean, we have one of the Sink in Stupors, but these are obviously deal a lot of damage to us. And, you know, if I find a bounce effect for this, that would... Like a different bounce effect for this, that would be good. They have one card left, so... It's a Suppression Ray. So I'm going to take 5 next turn and go to 4. Both of these fly. So I do need to make something happen. I mean, I guess the Conqueror was going to get us anyways. Yeah, none of these cards matter. Yeah, I think I'm going to... I just don't think I have enough here. All right, so White Orchid Phantom should bring in the Mountain. And then it's just a matter of me trying to figure out what I should cut instead. All right, we go to 1. I don't see... I think we're just dead. I don't see a world where we get back from this. All right. Well, we're going to be on the plane the last game, so that obviously helps. Let's board in Mountain. All right, well, let's just cut another Waterlog Teachings, I guess. I mean, we brought in a land, so... All right, what do we have here? War of Invention, Philology Archaeologist, and 4 lands. With a Flare of Denial, I guess I'll keep this. Jwari Disruption actually seems pretty good, right? So, I actually think I'm going to keep that. Wait on the Archaeologist, I think. Well, no, maybe I do want to play this turn 2, because being able to play this turn 2, and then maybe if I find a Belcher, that seems really good. So, let's still just play the Ruins. And having a bunch of untapped lands seems valuable. Like, Seagate Restoration is probably the worst of the lands that I have here, just because Sink into Stupor can bounce a Clarion Conqueror. Looks like turn 1, they don't have a lot of 1-drops other than Thoughtseize. So it does feel like they're going to Thoughtseize us. Which is sad. Sad times. It's just, that's another thing. Like, mulliganing aggressively against a deck with Thoughtseize is just not that great. You just, like, every resource, I think, matters. So, you know, we haven't had a Lotus Bloom in our opener in any of our hands, but it is what it is. Let's play Archaeologist. Lotus Bloom would be good. Charbelcher, I guess we'll take Charbelcher. I mean, that is a nice thing about the deck in that, like, you don't have to just go, like, Belcher activate right away. You can just play the Belcher and then activate it on the following turn, right? But at least here, I mean, the fact that we have access to a Flare of Denial, super strong. All right, so they probably... Oh, what? We just drew War of Invention. We have a turn 4 kill with a Flare of Denial backup. That seems really good. So now I'm going to just keep a War of Invention. I can also just hardcast Flare of Denial if necessary. So I guess we let the Felia resolve now. Because it's not directly disrupting our combo, right? So it's like, I want to counter Clarion Conqueror or Thoughtseize, cards of that nature, not the Felia itself. Really happy that we played the Juari Ruins turn 1, because if we didn't, this would have all been a disaster. Sequencing is so important in this Belcher deck. And by playing the tap land, like we needed the untap land for the turn 2 Archaeologist, and then we needed the untap tap land for the War of Invention. Yeah, I mean, I guess I let that happen. Remember, we can just cast Flare of Denial. Like, if they play something here that's too disruptive, we can just cast Flare of Denial. And it looks like they have... I mean, yeah, they might have that 2-mana creature. Oh, Quantum Riddler I don't care about, right? Like, unless they have a free counter. Yeah. I mean, basically, it draws them 2 cards, and then they get a 2/2 and a 4/6. Okay. I guess with that on the stack, we'll whir. Okay. I'm so scared. Even though, like, oh, I drew Disrupting. Even though I have the combo, I can Disrupting show Flare of Denial for their... If they have their own Force of Negation or something. Pay 3 life. Oh, I can potentially not die because I have a Mountain in my deck. Oh, they conceded. Okay. Oh, they're at 13. It's unless Mountain is in like the top 6 cards. But yeah, there we go. 1-0. Let's go. All right. We are on the play. I see a Lotus Bloom. That gives me all the hope in the world. And we have 4 lands, it looks like, and a Trainer and an Archaeologist. I'm going to keep. The downside with this hand is, of course, we don't have any of the free counters. But that's the thing. These 2-drops are so good in this deck. It's like, it helps you find the counters or the War of Inventions or just whatever you need to try to get to where you need to go. So I'm going to keep this. I mean, especially with the turn 1 Lotus Bloom. So on the play, going turn 1 Lotus Bloom, start with the tap land and the Suppression Ray into, turn 2. Again, probably Thunder Trap Trainer just because it looks 1 card deeper than the Falaji Archaeologist. And we are playing against Eldrazi Tron. Okay. Well, being on the play is very big. That deck actually is surprisingly decent. Surprisingly decent against the deck that I play. I lost to it twice in a previous league. Like they had, the best Eldrazi draws where they can play like a Karn on turn 2 or 3 is a big problem. All right, so what did they get? They played a mine. I mean, I have no idea what they got, but did they mulligan? They're in 3 cards. Oh wow, they mulliganed a lot. Okay. All right, let's play a Hydroelectric Specimen. Pay 3 life. And then we'll play the trainer. Obviously, we just want Belcher. All right, so I have Disrupting Shoal, which I can play for 2. There's also Whir of Invention. I don't have a Disrupting Shoal for 4, and I think that's like the important thing to have. I can also take Jwari Disruption, or I can take the Whir of Invention, but I guess I'll take the Whir. Wow. Opponent just conceded. Okay, you know what? We take those. We take the free wins. All right. Spell Snare and Stern Scolding are pretty bad in this matchup. Harbinger of the Seas looks quite good. Stock Up. I think Stock Up and Tezzeret might be good. Hurkyl's Recall is great. Consign to Memory is fantastic. Don't need the Mountain here. Tamiyo could be good. And Into the Floodmaw can also be good. So these are all the cards that could be good. Clearly, they're all not supposed to come in. So I now need to figure out, like, among these, which one do I want? Because they have, like, cards like Disruptor Flute and such, and even Karn that I absolutely do have to bounce. So I think the Into the Floodmaws are fine. I can probably shave a Bean via Veil. As far as free counters go... Oh, Disrupting Shoal, I think, is pretty bad. I have, like, very few things to actually counter. Like, all their stuff is expensive. Other than, I guess, Disruptive Flute. So maybe I keep it because of that. Actually, I'm going to cut all of this. Like, their best threats against me are Thought-Knots here, and... Yeah, I'm just going to cut the Disrupting Shoals. Or, like, I'll cut 3 of them. And then the question is, like, do I want a Disrupting Shoal, or do I want, like... Oh, especially because I'm bringing in all, like, the Consigned to Memories. I think all the Shoals can go. And then let's bring in, like, one of these value cards. Not sure which one. Let's go with Stock Up. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, the thing with Tamiyo is it's like... I don't know if I want to play a super long game with them. And then the clues also get shuts off by Karn. And the Tezzeret maybe I should have brought in, but it also gets killed by their big things. All right, this is a 0 lander, so we're gonna mulligan that. This is a 1 lander, so we gotta mulligan this. All right, you know what? One bad draw deserves another, right? Okay, we're gonna keep this. We have to put 2 cards back? I don't want to. Okay, we can put a Suppression Ray back. Like, I like the Lotus Bloom Suppression Ray, land, Tameshi. And then I guess it's Thunder Trap Trainer, because I think Consign is pretty important. I mean, they're all pretty important. I can just take maybe I just don't need Tameshi? I don't know. I'm gonna do this. I think Consign is, like, one of the most important cards. Turn 2 is not the big concern here. It's turn 3. They're going to probably have Tron. And then we just need to make sure that we have Consigned to Memory for Tron. Okay, double Whir of Invention is not ideal. Maybe I should just be playing 24 lands. Who knows? And cut something else. Oh yeah, maybe that's what I should have done. Just play all my lands. All right, well, they have Tron turn 3. So they get to do Eldrazi Tron things. We have a singular counterspell to try to save us here. What? They didn't play anything? That's very surprising. Really would love an untapped land here to whir for another Lotus Bloom. Or a Consigned to Memory. I'll take another Consigned to Memory. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's not ideal. Whir of Invention here is terrible, obviously. Well, they have 10 mana. Thought-Knots here. I mean, I gotta counter it. Do they have a Karn? If they have a Karn, it's just over. Oh, Thought-Knots here? Okay. I guess we have a chance. They're just going to take the Tameshi here. I mean, technically, I can go... If I... Well, no, I can't even get a Belcher. I'm not even close. I need an untapped land here, I guess. Oh, there it is. All right. So yeah, the only play here for us is to War of Invention. Like I have Tormod's Crypt, but that doesn't do anything. That's a Karn. Okay. I mean, if they Stonebrain me, it's just game over. Let's see if they get it though. All right. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, you don't necessarily have infinite time. So, let's see. Do I want land number 24? Like, I certainly don't need the Disrupting Shoals. Again, if I had, like, more Waterlog teachings, maybe. I will keep Force of Negation, though. And Tezzeret is a consideration, but it's really expensive. Yeah, I'm just going to play 23 lands. All right, let's try it. Okay, we have, what is this? 3 lands. All right, I'm going to keep. We have a Flare of Denial consigned, so we have good disruption. We have good disruption, and then the Archaeologist hopefully finds us what we need here. We'll go turn 1, tap land, Drawing Disruption, turn 2 Archaeologist, keeping up Flare, and then we can play Archaeologist again. If we find an untapped land, we can also keep up Consigned to Memory. Our opponent mulliganed once. They're going to get Tron. Oh well. Or most likely they're going to get Tron. Let's play Archaeologist. We hit a Lotus Bloom. Hurkyl's Recall. And what is this? Seagate Restoration. Let's get the Lotus Bloom. Just in time. It's a little bit delayed, but you know what? I think the mana that we get from this will be quite valuable. As long as we can find another Belcher here. So they do have turn 3 Tron, of course. Was there ever a doubt? Was there ever... Okay. The classic delayed Lotus Bloom start. Excuse me. I'm going to hold off on the Archaeologist. Like, I don't even need to get the Belcher right now. And they're going to have access to a lot of mana next turn, so... I think just keeping up Consigned to Memories here is pretty good. With Flare of Denial up. Next turn I can play Archaeologist and still do the same. Fleshraker with 5 cards. Like, is this going to get out of hand? I will counter this. I have so many counter effects, so... Wow, they had nothing? That's huge. Okay. Alright, so now we can go Archaeologist. Look for a Belcher. Or totally miss? Oh my gosh, we hit 3 creatures! Like, the chances of missing on Archaeologist is so low in this deck. Oh, that's a shame. So maybe I keep this in my hand, because I might want to cast it? Yeah, I mean, there's no reason playing a land right now anyways, right? Like, I can keep up Consign and cast Flare of Denial anyways. And I have all the mana in the world with double Lotus Bloom coming in. Okay, Kozilek's Command I'll let resolve. So, I mean, we do have 2 counterspells available here, but if I cast both the counterspells, then the Seagate Restoration doesn't do anything. Man, that was a really, really bad Phalagi Archaeologist. That resolves. I guess I counter this. Actually, maybe I should have sacked the Archaeologist. That might have been better. What if I just top deck a Belcher? Wouldn't that be a delight? An absolute delight. Okay, well, this is not doing anything. So let's play this. All right, well, here, I mean, honestly, I can just hardcast Flare of Denial here, and then hope for the best. They still have 4 cards in hand. And they have yet to play any of their hate cards either. Oh, it's a Dismember? Sure. Another good reason to not bring in the random Tameo out of the sideboard. Oh, did I have nothing? Wow. Is there hope? All right, let's cast it. I mean, we don't really have other good options, so I'm just going to do it, right? So I draw 3 cards off of this. Wow, we drew Tameshi. We drew Tameshi, so that's obviously quite strong. I don't, like, the lands that I bounce aren't particularly good, though. I'm going to play the Suppression Ray, and then just keep up a hard cast on Flare of Denial, and then we can maybe do some Tameshi things next turn. I mean, look, getting a bunch of mana doesn't even matter because I've already cast the Seagate Restoration, right? Oh, this sucks. I mean, I kind of have to counter this, right? They're doing it for 9. They get to scry 9. Oh, that's rough. So they get to find like 2 cards on the top? Yeah, I mean, I think we just have to counter it. Yeah, I mean, we were certainly in position to just like try to win with the Belcher, but we couldn't get there. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I could have won this game. Like, I think we had some decent counter magic, but they had turn 3 Tron, and maybe I fired off the counter spells a little too willy-nilly. Like, perhaps the Glaring Fleshraker I should have let resolve. But I had some windows there to find my combo and try to win, but sadly we didn't get there. It's okay. It's okay. 1-1. Let's keep it going. All right. Let's see. 2 lands: Lotus Bloom, Belcher, Tameshi, Flare of Denial. I mean, I'm gonna keep this, but needs like another land or something to really be ideal. But like, I just need lands, honestly. Like, and playing out a Tameshi just for Flare of Oh, it's the mirror. Everybody wants to see a good mirror. All right. But they didn't suspend Lotus Bloom, so that's good. But, I mean, they can obviously have counter magic, right? So they can even counter the Lotus Bloom. So, yeah, the counter spells here are super important. They got a Waterlogged Teachings back. Okay, a Force of Negation, very good. We got to play out the Disruption. I suppose I can just play Tameshi next turn, right? I mean, we'll see what they do with this Lotus Bloom. They might just counter the Lotus Bloom. Sink into Stupor. Oh, so it puts it back into my hand? Okay. Okay. I suppose they could just jam a Charbelcher here. But it would have gotten me anyways if I tried to cast a flare. No, maybe I should have cast a flare, actually. Because I think I actually lose the game now. Unless I can find a bounce spell off the top. All right, well, this is one Belcher player outmaneuvering the other. Yeah, I thought the thing is, I didn't think that I was gonna die, right? But if I cast a Flare of Denial, I would have still been able to Force of Negation their Charbelcher. So I think that was a misstep on my part. Can find a bounce spell. And we lose. All right. Well, good beats. How do we want to sideboard here? Consigned to memory is a good way to counter Charbelcher, although it's just Charbelcher. Stock up looks like it can be pretty good. Cameo. I don't know about Into the Flood Maw. Spell Snare counters all the 2-mana creatures, and Stern Scolding counters Tameshi. So that's interaction in a way. Tezzeret can also potentially be okay, but tapping out for this is like kind of a gamble, right? You can potentially get wrecked doing that. I think I'll cut the Spell Snares. I like the Stern Scolding because it also counters the Tameshi. I really don't know how to sideboard in this matchup. Do I cut Disrupting Shoal? Like, is this like more of a grindy matchup and I have the Consigned to Memories? I'm not sure. Do I want Flusterstorm? For like fighting their counters? I really, you know what? Yeah, this is a I'm not entirely sure type situation. But let's see how this goes. All right, here we have some counter magic. I simply just don't want to mulligan too often. So I'm going to keep this. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I might just keep up Jwari Disruption to counter their turn 2 creature. Oh, we found Philology Archaeologist. Okay. Well, we'll just do that instead. Okay. Yeah, like everything seems good, so I'm not even entirely sure. All right, well, Consigned to Memory is clearly good, so because my opponent showed it, and they clearly know how to play this deck better than us. So happy that that worked. Wow, they just instantly let that resolve. They're at 14. Tameshi beatdowns is happening. You better believe it. The old turn 4 Lotus Bloom. It's a classic. I think they have a War of Invention, which we can Jwari Disruption. And we will. Doesn't feel especially good to do that, but I didn't have any artifacts or land cards in my graveyard. Okay, they just went with the try. I mean, I have one card in hand, so it certainly makes sense. Yeah, I guess I'm dead again. Okay, well, good beats. Good beats. Look, I can confidently say that my opponent was better at playing the Belcher deck than me. I don't know what else I could have done. Maybe I should have mulliganed. Maybe I'm supposed to let the War of Invention resolve there. But in the first game, I definitely should have hardcast the Flare and then keep up Force of Negation. I definitely should have done that. All right, here we go. We have two lands, a Spell Snare and a Stern Scolding. So this gives us things to do early. And then we still have the Archaeologist to find what we need. It looks like a turn 1 Thoughtseize, though. Yep. I mean, they might take one of my lands. Seems like... The thing is, my hand is just kind of all samey anyways. So if you take the land, you get like a 10% shot that I just... Or 20% shot even that I just like miss on my second land drop. And then you just win the game on the spot. So, yeah. Singing the Stupor makes sense for the opponent. I'm going to play this. Pay 3 life. Because they could easily be playing like Psychic Frog and being able to keep up Spell Snare or Stern Scolding for that makes a lot of sense here. Polluted Delta is the land. Yeah, they could have Orcish Bowmasters too. All right, we drew Suppression Ray, so happy that we at least hit one of our lands. I mean, we're countering it. Now they get to play their frog. Okay. Okay, Archaeologist. We're going to be looking for a land here. Or a Lotus Bloom. War of Invention is interesting, but I'd rather just not miss a land drop for the turn. So do I want Waterlogged Teachings or Singing the Stoop? You got to think about which land to get back because of Tameshi as well. Let's just get this back, I guess. No. I was thinking about paying 3 life to keep up Stern Scolding, but I do think my life is relevant in this matchup. So I don't, especially with the Psychic Frog in play. If they have to give this flying if they want to connect, which they will. I mean, we could just go for the Belcher because we have the Flare of Denial if we find an untapped land. What is this? Oh, okay. I guess. Yeah, sure. All right, give me a... Does this tap artifacts? No, just creatures. All right, untap land. Untap land just to run out the Belcher here. Ah, it's a tap land. Darn. All right, well, let's play the Archaeologist. Having a second creature for Flare seems really good. And let's get back Disrupting Shoal, which is also very good. Let's play the Bean. How do you pronounce this card, too? Anyways. We now have Stern Scolding for the Frog. We can chump the Kaito if we need. And then we have Flare and Disrupting Shoal. For 3, I guess. We have Disrupting Shoal for 3. So... I mean, I think I should block. Right? Like, Surveil 2 draw a card is pretty strong, but like obviously they can kill my creature, and that turns off my Flare. So there's a real cost to blocking here. I mean, Stern Scolding is not going to counter anything else, so. Alright, 3 cards in hand for the opponent. We will run out the Belcher. Counterspell. Well, Disrupting Shoal was a very good draw. Alright, Belcher has resolved. We are at 14 life. I don't think there's too many ways for them to counter the Belcher once it's in play, but... I mean, we kind of went all in. I mean, Disrupting Shoal was actually super important. This is a tough matchup. It's a Thoughtseize Counterspell Force of Negation deck. So they're going to Surveil, hit me with the Kaito, and then try to find something for the Charbelcher. Okay. And then concede. Concede! Concede! Please don't find Odawara. Oh my gosh, they found Sink in the Stupor? Are you kidding me? Alright, well, I'm gonna play it again. If they win this game, that would be something else. Just concede, please. Please. It's an artifact. Don't bounce it again. How big is this thing? 4? I'm gonna do it on their upkeep, I guess. Okay. We got it. All right. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be a very, very tough matchup. I don't think any of these cards are good. Flusterstorm can be good. Tamiyo can also be good. Floodmaw, maybe. All of these don't seem particularly good. Stock Up seems... I think I generally like Stock Up against Thoughtseize decks. I don't love Tezzeret just because... I mean, they're still pressuring my life total somewhat. Cut the Force of Negation. Because they're interacting with me. And I don't particularly care about their combos very much. Spell Snares and Stern Scolding seem good. And I'm not sure about, like, how much of this disruptive package I want to bring in. Let's just go with none of it. Let's just go with none of it. I'm looking at the list right now, and there's just not that many things I care about bouncing. Like, I guess if they play a Murktide Regent or an Oculus, but it seems a little bit narrow. They're going to just bring in 4 Consign to Memories, so I need to find a way to grind through them and fight them on that axis. Here we have a 1-lander, it looks like, so we got to mulligan this. On the draw... We do have a Spell Snare, but we can't play it turn 1. And if they Thoughtseize me turn 1, it's a disaster. Alright, I gotta mulligan that. Alright, we're gonna keep this. It's a 4-lander. Then we'll bottom... Sure. Actually, maybe we should have bottomed the Waterlogged Teachings. Disrupting Shoal on Murktide Regent is pretty cool. Is it turn 1 Thoughtseize? Oh, it's a Tamiyo. Yeah, not much I can do about that. Interesting. I mean, Tamiyo's a good card. This will play the Teachings. Okay. I mean, our hand is, like, very redundant, so it's fine. They're probably going to take Tameshi or Thundertrap Trainer, but I suppose there's also a world where they take the Disrupting Shoal. Yeah. This is just, you know, it digs me what I need, so... Alright, that's a Flare of Denial. The way I look at this is I can Disrupting Shoal for 2. If they play a 2-mana card for Disruption. There's not that many 3-mana plays they can play here. Like, they can't play an Oculus. Also, I can still Shoal 3-drops as well. So I'd rather just not take the damage here. Like, these games tend to go a little bit longer. I guess maybe Tamiyo isn't so good if they have, like, Psychic Frogs and stuff to block with. So maybe I shouldn't have brought that in. I mean, they can't really counter back on their turn. Alright, and then we can just play Tameshi. Might as well. Just get it on the board. This lets us Flare of Denial something crazy if we need, but we are so far away from comboing off here. So not a great spot to be in. And obviously, like, I don't really want to flare something unless I absolutely have to. Like, if they play a Psychic Frog, do I just let it resolve? I don't know. They found a land here. I need to find, like, a War of Invention. Oh, another card that I didn't really consider that maybe I should have brought in is Flusterstorm, because they do have a lot of instant speed removal, like, counters and such. So that could have been something I should have brought in. I think I should play the Sink into Stupor. Just having more lands in play with the Tameshi can be nice, especially if I just find a white source. I'm not sure if I have to have a target to activate this. Like, can I just... If I have a Plains, can I just pick up lands to draw cards? Actually, now I do think I'm gonna pay 3 life. Like, I'm all in on just Tameshi, like, trying to kill my opponent, and my opponent can't really deal damage to me right now, right? So by being able to keep up Spell Snare and the hard cast of Flare of Denial seems pretty strong. So I will keep up both. Until we find action. It's a Kaito. Yep. The one thing I'll say, I mean, like, it's nice because this deck can get some free wins, and with the best draws you can win, but it's so fragile. You know what I mean? There is not, like, a great plan B necessarily. Like, if they have Consign plus Force of Negation, that's it, right? But, like, at the same time, I don't really have a better option here. Yeah, I definitely should bring in the Flusterstorms. Yeah, I like, it's just so hard to win on this axis without, like, more ways to fight back through their counterspells. So I do think the Flusterstorms are important. It's like, yeah, just any type of huge counterspell stack, like, you're gonna come out ahead, which I think is also pretty nice. I have not been that impressed with Tameshi. I really do not understand it. But maybe somebody can illuminate me later. But I'm gonna... I think it's important to keep hitting your land drops. I'm gonna, like, cut a couple of them. Or, like, at least one of them. I mean, this is probably the matchup where it's good. No, I'm just gonna play 2. Alright, what do we have here? We have Belcher and War of Invention and Thundertrap Trainer. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. It's a very, very solid hand. We get to go turn 1, B. Why? Bayine Veil. Turn 2 Trainer. And hope that that's good. Okay, no Thoughtseize, which is good. Another Belcher. The question is, if they play a frog, do I counter the frog with the flare? What do you have? Spell Snare? I guess I have a lot of 2-drops. Wow, that was really good. I mean, that was insanely good, actually. Like, if they mulliganed into Spell Snare into Psychic Frog, I think I'm just dead. I guess I'll take an untapped land. Oh. This is good. Can't force a negation that. I want an untapped land. Let's do that, and then we'll play the Disruption. Thoughtseize. This is good, because like if they have like a counterspell here, it's not too bad, because I can just play the other Belcher, unless they take my Sink into Stupor. So, yeah. Glad I got them to use their counterspell there. And then they took the Sink into Stupor. Okay. Fair enough. Alright, so untap land here, I guess, and try to go for the win. Nope. I'm going to main phase this to play around counterspell. Like, obviously, Force of Negation is annoying, but... Alright. I mean, we're still not out of it by a long shot, but I think these were the plays that were available to us. Okay, another Psychic Frog. Untap land. Right, here we go. If they counterspell it, we can Flusterstorm it. They're going to draw a bunch of cards, though, and we're going to have to, like, fade. Fade a lot. Looks like it's just a counterspell. All right. So Flusterstorm did a really good job of making sure that my Belcher resolves. They have 2 cards in hand. Unless their last 2 cards are Force of Negation plus a blue card. Okay? I mean, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? It's just like... well, I'll tell you this. If I was playing the Pro Tour, I absolutely would not play this deck. Number 1, I don't play this deck particularly well. Number 2, I mean, that's basically it. I don't play this deck well. I also just don't know that it's a great deck in general. It just feels like every deck has some kind of plan against you, but you do have a lot of counter magic. So, you know, for those of you who play this deck a lot, yes, I you know, it's like, I get it. Tameshi off the top, I guess. No, they found Thoughtseize too. Okay. So all it took was 2 Thoughtseizes, a counterspell, a replicated Consigned to Memory, and a Force of Negation with 3 Psychic Frogs. It is what it is. Well, there you have it, folks. You know, this is part of a series. I'm gonna, you know, I have a couple of videos that I need to make, honestly, because I'm doing the Pro Tour. So this is me just trying to get a sense for what I need to prepare for. This is one of the more popular decks in the format, so I felt like I did need to play it. For those of you who play this deck on a regular basis, don't even bother, okay? Just like, if you have something negative to say, just keep it to yourself, all right? Because I fully realize that I am certainly not the master of this deck. And the thing is, it is a challenge to prepare to commentate for these events when there's one modern event a year, and I didn't do the Modern Pro Tour last year. So there's a lot of catching up to do, but honestly, the most important thing is to just be able to follow the action and bring excitement to the broadcast. And I think I have a good sense for what this deck's trying to do. And as far as predicting what the lines of better players are going to do, I'm going to leave that to them for the most part. But yeah, get Belcher in play, protect it with counter magic, and sequencing obviously extremely important, and then sideboarding also pretty important as well in terms of what you need to bring in and bring out. But outside of that, we got properly smushed in this one. I like that Eldrazi Tron deck a little bit better, a little bit easier to play, but hopefully we can do a little bit better in the next video. I have a huge list of decks that I need to play. Boros Energy, there is a Neoform deck that I want to try. So a lot of cool stuff, but this was Mono-Blue Belcher. Hope you at least enjoyed the journey with me. And hopefully we can have a few more wins in the future videos. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, as I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more daily videos just like this. If you've enjoyed this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That's patreon.com/paulcheon. Also, check out TCGplayer.com for all your Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product needs. If you want to buy some booster boxes of Spider-Man, or you wanted some singles for your modern standard Pioneer decks, check out TCGplayer.com. Make sure you hit that affiliate link in the description below before making any purchases. Last but not least, go to heavyplay.com for premium Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories. If you want top-of-the-line deck boxes, playmat, sleeves, dice boxes, live pads, and more, go to heavyplay.com/paulcheon for 10% off your first order. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.